this is the example right here. The only one in the first half where they had a nice move with some rhythm. Other than that, it was just banging on pots and pans randomly and calling it a drum beat. But one trophy down, 2 to go for Barcelona to win the treble. And it all starts with this Copa del Rey. And I guess that's why they call it El Clásico, because this was a spectacular match. What we're going to do here is break down how Barcelona completely outclassed Real Madrid in the first half, lost total control in the second, but then found a way through Real Madrid's mistakes to lift the trophy in the end by winning 3-2. So let's go ahead and break this down. Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North, and please let me know what you think about this match. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. All right, this is the trophy that they were fighting for, and honestly, Real Madrid did not look like they were ready for a fight at the beginning of this game. They played such a defensive style in the first half, which did not really work for them. Now, Barcelona very early in the game signaled their intentions, and Real Madrid just looked like a terrified team because they've been destroyed by Barcelona already twice this season. What they tried to do was clog up the middle with 5 midfielders, 4 of them in a flat line, Tchouaméni dropping off, a lot of the time getting into the back line as you see here, but they weren't organized enough and they were constantly leaving space for Barcelona players in all kinds of different areas. Now, as you can see here, Vini isolated alone up front. You have a midfield 4 of Rodrigo on the right, Valverde, Bellingham in the middle, and then on the left side, Dani Ceballos. Now, behind them was Aurelien Tchouaméni, and Barcelona, they are very dynamic. They push their fullbacks forward. Their whole entire back line raises. Their midfielders rotate, and they just created constant problems for Real Madrid in this first half. Ferran Torres dropping in as a false 9, constantly finding space. And look, Real Madrid survived, but it was tough watch for them in the first half. Now, Inigo Martinez gets this ball, and you can right away see this Real Madrid midfield and their shape. So Vini Jr. up front alone. They're the midfield 4. Flat as hell, easy to break lines through. Lucas Vázquez goes to press Rafinha. The ball gets flicked into Ferran Torres, and he finds Gerard Martin, the fullback, bombing up. And Flick had to be really pleased with his plan because Real Madrid were just very easy to play through, and also because Pedri and De Jong were just easily finding space. Bellingham was supposed to be marking De Jong, but look at this clever movement by De Jong. I'm just going to go behind Bellingham and see if he loses me. And as he gets to that left side of Bellingham's shoulder, Bellingham's probably expecting him to keep running there, but he changes direction, and Bellingham realizes it late. The ball goes into De Jong, and once again, you have one of the wingers tucking in. We saw Rafinha do that on the last play. Now it's Lamine Yamal dropping in, receiving the ball, and able to turn and go forward. Once again, building out from the back, Inigo Martinez plays the ball to Cubarsí. Now, as he gets this ball, De Jong is in a really nice position to be able to receive and turn, and Ceballos needs to drop a little bit because Bellingham's not close enough to De Jong here. So Ceballos needs to stay with him, let the ball go out to Koundé, and they can press from there. But look at what Real Madrid do. They just leave that space open. The split is easy. De Jong turns, feeds it out to Lamine Yamal, who would drive forward and create a chance for Barcelona. So look at Real Madrid's shape here. You got that midfield 4, Rodrigo not cutting the ball out wide. You can see Tchouaméni staying with Dani Olmo, but no one marking Ferran Torres, who's the false 9 in there. Ball gets played through to Rafinha. He plays it across. But here's the thing for Real Madrid. Even when they got these balls and would clear them out, they would just go right to Barcelona players. They had absolutely no outlet. The only way Real Madrid could get forward was by hitting long balls, and Carlo Ancelotti was probably panicking at this point. But they did have that option. Every now and again, if they wanted, they can just hit it long and hope that they would win the ball. And Jude Bellingham, when he was in this central position, he made a big difference. Now, in the first half, he was rarely getting these balls. Second half, that changed. We'll get to that in a bit. But here, ball comes up. He's able to turn, chest it, drop it to Vini. And for the first time in the match, 15 minutes and 30 seconds in, Real Madrid actually advanced all the way to the edge of the Barcelona penalty area. Problem is, when Vini gets this ball and turns it over, Barcelona just steam up the field. Inigo Martinez gets absolutely leveled here by Antonio Rudiger. But look, the counterattack is on, and Lamine Yamal picks up the pieces and immediately clips the ball over the top to Rafinha, who gets in, plays it across, and it's snuffed out. Courtois picks it up. But now Barcelona were just starting to have a little bit of fun, and it was because they were so confident. When they got the ball here and they ran out of options, they would just go ahead and go to the other side. And if that didn't work, they were able to drop Real Madrid back enough to where Pedri and De Jong just had all kinds of time on the ball. This time, Koundé making a penetrating run forward. It gets to Lamine Yamal, and that run by Koundé forces Ceballos to go with him, and now Lamine Yamal is squared up 1v1 with Fran Garcia. He shoots wide, but man, Real Madrid were just getting beat up at this point. Now, for any team trying to create a chance against Barcelona, the way you are going to do it, good combination play, up, back, throughs, overlaps, third man runners with one-touch balls, or runs from deep that can expose Barcelona's really high line. Now, Real Madrid did not do enough of this in the first half, but here's an example of what they needed to try to do more of. So you see Bellingham here right in the center spot. He's already kind of leaning like, ooh, I want to make this run in behind. And though the ball doesn't get played to him here, he's able to check back, and Real Madrid are now starting to stack up players to make these runs. So as the ball gets played back here to Raul Asensio, he looks up, and now he's like, okay, I have enough time. This line is super high, and he goes over the top to Bellingham, who makes that run finally and gets in behind. This is one of the first times Real Madrid had a touch of the ball inside Barcelona's penalty area in the first half. I mean, it's absolutely shocking, but that was an example of what Real Madrid can do. Unfortunately for them, they would go behind from an outstanding goal from Pedri. So Koundé plays the ball into Ferran Torres, and his layoff to find De Jong is short. So Bellingham takes it, side skips De Jong, and now he's got a fantastic opportunity with Vini Jr. running through and the Barcelona back line running away. If Bellingham just clips this ball in the air with a little bit of backspin curling into Vini's run, Vini is in with no problems. But the ball is on the ground and Kubarsi is just able to cut it out. Now watch Bellingham. He's got his hands over his face and he's taking this moment to himself when he should be chasing the ball, because Pedri now has enough time and space to take a look up, see Lamine Yamal making the run. Bellingham has just now collected himself and the ball gets flown over the top. Now Pedri is here and he is going to run all the way up to the top of the penalty area and score, and you will see nobody following him. As the ball gets launched forward, Lamine Yamal comes into the box. 6 Real Madrid players are back. But again, did anyone follow Pedri? And this is like a training exercise when a ball gets rolled to you right at the top of the D and you get to just crush it in the top corner. Absolutely fantastic goal. And Carlo Ancelotti at this point had to be pretty frustrated. Like, how on earth are we going to come back in this game? And look, here's the shape that they had this entire half. This flat 4 in the midfield. Tchouaméni standing next to Dani Olmo, but leaving Ferran Torres free. So with Tchouaméni just locked on Olmo, Torres would just drop in and try to receive the ball. And Rudiger was aware of this. As soon as the ball goes into Ferran, he starts to run in. But again, look at Gerard Martin, completely wide open on the far side. As it goes into Rafinha, Martin can now start to run forward. It gets played out to him. And once again, Real Madrid are scrambling back. Now, as I said, if Real Madrid were going to get through, they were going to have to do it with some good, tidy combination play and quick ball movement. So this is the example right here. The only one in the first half where they had a nice move with some rhythm. Other than that, it was just banging on pots and pans randomly and calling it a drum beat. But this is finally what Real Madrid were looking for. Ball in, bounce pass back, it initiates the press. Rafinha starts to run. Barcelona have 4 players in advanced positions. Bellingham checking in while Rodrigo makes the run down the line. Lucas Vazquez plays it in, little 1-2. And just like that, you have destroyed their front line and their midfield line, and you're in at their back 4. And if you can switch the play, you will get some joy. And Ferran Garcia gets it, has the underlapping run from Vini Jr. He whips it across first time, but Rodrigo did not read it and is not there to put it into the back post. The other thing is overlaps and late runners. So as this ball comes into Bellingham, Ferran Garcia is making the run. As Bellingham takes a look up here, he's given the time to turn. Big mistake by Barcelona, and you can see Vini Jr. leaning forward. But as this ball gets played, it goes in, and Ferran Garcia, if he just calls Vini off of it and Vini runs away, Real Madrid could be in on a break. But Vini takes the ball, he's offside, and actually gets in the box, gets cleaned out. The referee gave a penalty kick, but because he's offside, Real Madrid go into the half 1-0 down. So Real Madrid are being completely outclassed by Barcelona. This game is only close in terms of scoreline, but give huge credit to Carlo Ancelotti because he made some changes here that completely altered the game. First, he brought in Mbappe and took off Rodrigo and went to a 4-4-2 diamond. So this here's just to show you that shape. You can see Tchouaméni is the deepest one, Valverde on the right, Ceballos on the left, and Bellingham as the 10. And Real Madrid in this diamond meant that they were able to go and press balls out to the side a little bit quicker, cut off angles to Ferran Torres on the ground in the middle, and just be able to put pressure on De Jong and Pedri a lot more. And it really slowed Barcelona's attack down. And the thing about Bellingham being as the 10 is that now he's closer to knockdowns. This is a fantastic tackle to win the ball, and then he just gets up and does this all on his own. Creates the chance, driving right through the heart of the Barcelona defense. Vini is onside. The first shot is saved by Szczesny, the rebound as well. But right away at the start of the second half, Real Madrid have life. They were still able to deploy the long ball and have Bellingham challenging and winning them, flicking balls on to Kylian Mbappe. So here, Bellingham's the one that wins it. Mbappe heads it back down to him. And just like that, very simple. Long ball, first and second ball won. Now you've got a runner going in behind against a high line. It gets lobbed over and Mbappe is in. And then Ancelotti would have his second roll of the dice, making another substitution. This was key. He brought on Arda Güler and Luka Modric, and he took off Lucas Vazquez and Dani Ceballos. Now he kept the same shape, 4-4-2 diamonds, so So Valverde went to right back, Arda Güler went to right midfield, and Luka Modric was kind of given a little bit of a free roll with Tchouaméni holding the base of midfield behind him. This was a masterstroke from Ancelotti, and it completely changed the game. The other thing Ancelotti wanted his team to do is press higher and try and harry Barcelona into mistakes. The funny thing is, right after this substitution, they almost got done and lost the game. So this was a huge moment right here. You can see Real Madrid pressing much higher. They've got their two forwards and their entire midfield pressing up. And as Barcelona hit the long ball, Ferran Torres checks in, so of course, Rudiger on his back. And Bellingham here is the one who makes the mistake. He doesn't read that Frankie de Jong is going to receive this ball. And so Bellingham just allows that open space. The ball gets dropped off to de Jong. He plays it up, and it's a 3-on-2. This is a golden opportunity, and Olmo makes a complete mess of it right here. He should absolutely just play the obvious ball right here in front of Lamine Yamal, because Lamine Yamal is going to be advancing towards goal when he takes his first touch. Instead, Olmo decides to go into the back of the defenders, but the ball is behind Rafinha, so he has to slow down a little bit. Real Madrid are able to start cutting off angles. Rafinha shoots, drags his shot wide. So that was the danger for Real Madrid. If they press too high and Barcelona hit long balls, there will be danger. But when they had the ball, they were so much more dynamic. Here, Raul Asensio dribbling out of the back, and here are a couple examples of how Bellingham's role in the second half completely changed things for Real Madrid. So the ball gets played by Asensio into Bellingham, who's checking. He draws two players towards him, is able to help the ball out to Arda Güler, and now Güler has a really simple decision. Mbappe is running in behind, and he's onside. Keep the ball going through to him. And in a couple quick passes, Real Madrid are through. Now then you got Fede Valverde bombing up from right back, affecting the Barcelona defenders. The ball gets chopped to Vini Jr., cuts it back onto his right foot, and Koundé makes an important block. And I mean, Real Madrid now, they knew that they could get at this Barcelona back line. Rudiger looks up. What's the option? Bellingham checking in. Very nice little flick by Bellingham to get the ball out to Vini Jr., and he wastes no time. He's got the run of Mbappe. It's a one-touch ball down the line, and Mbappe is just stopped by Inigo Martinez here. But Real Madrid would just continue to do this. And now Hansi Flick was starting to get worried, because a one-goal lead is fine when you've dominated the game, but now you're losing control. And Real Madrid pressing up caused all kinds of problems. They were winning balls in high areas. Here they get the ball and they find Vini all by himself in the middle. He takes a shot, it's saved. Then on the next play, Szczesny would get the ball out to Pedri. He'd get tackled by Luka Modric. Vini would get it and take a shot and just miss the top corner. So the press by Real Madrid was effective, but the problem that they had to deal with were these runs in behind. And we would see this Olmo and Ferran Torres switch frequently. So you can see Ferran Torres check to this ball. Koundé lifts it over the top for Dani Olmo to go through. Little back heel to get it back into Ferran Torres. He plays it to Rafinha, and Rafinha drags it wide again. It's like a glitch in the Matrix, deja vu. But yeah, that ball over the top for Barcelona was a real concern for Real Madrid. And it was really one of the only things that Barcelona did in the second half to be dangerous. But it was working. Here you go, Ferran Torres checking to the ball. Rudiger doesn't know whether to go with him or not, because he sees Olmo going through ahead of Tchouaméni. So they have a little bit of a miscommunication. And here is where Real Madrid would actually get their equalizer. This is actually the very beginning of it. Valverde plays this ball into Arda Güler, keeps his run going, and now Raul Asensio has it. Bellingham checks in, but the ball's not onto him, so it goes back to Courtois. Now, at this point, Barcelona are starting to squeeze a little higher. Fine, Courtois, just go over the top of them, because you know that if you win these balls, or the second ones, you're going to be able to create a chance. And that's what happens here. Kubarsi wins the first one, and it goes to Pedri. Yes, but Bellingham is right on him. Unlike in the first half where Pedri had all the time in the world, here he's under immediate pressure. Bellingham makes the tackle. Vini Jr. helps it on to Mbappe, and Mbappe is running through. And look at this nutmeg on Inigo Martinez. Whoop! Top of the box, super dangerous, about to shoot, gets fouled, free kick, and Mbappe would take his chance brilliantly. Off the base of the post, it's terrific. It's 1-1, and they would feel really confident every time they won the ball. So Bellingham has it right here, gets away from Fermin Lopez, can't quite get away from Koundé, but as the ball gets released to Lamine Yamal, he gets in, makes a tackle. Now they can launch a counterattack. Mbappe drops in, gives it to Bellingham, and now you got both Mbappe and Vini with tons of room to run in behind. Bellingham's pass, I don't know who it was meant for, but Mbappe picks it up, helps it on to Vini. Vini skips past Inigo Martinez, and they almost score here to take the lead. But eventually they would do it, and it'd actually just be from a set piece. Tchouaméni rises high above Jules Koundé, heads the ball in, and it's 2-1 with just 15 minutes to play. Now, Real Madrid have this 2-1 lead going into the final 10 minutes, and they really should have closed the game out, but for a massive set of mistakes that allowed Ferran to get the equalizer. Pretty unfortunate to see the best goalkeeper in the world make this kind of mistake, but it's also down to Real Madrid just being a little lazy at this moment of the game. A ball gets played up, and Mbappe really needs to do something there to challenge for the ball on Cubarsí. Instead, Cubarsí can just nod it down to Fermín Lopez. He looks up, plays the ball into Lamine Yamal, and he sees the run of Ferran Torres. Now, this ball from Lamine Yamal is exquisite. That is an incredible pass. And yes, Ferran Torres has the jump on Rudiger, but Courtois does not need to be there because Ferran Torres is going away from goal, and Rudiger is just going to sort of go behind him to make sure he doesn't foul him. And so Ferran Torres has a wide open goal, and just like that, it's 2-2. Gut punch for Real Madrid. Completely outclassed in the first half. They turned the game totally around in the second, got a 2-1 lead, and that's how you give up an equalizer? I mean, that is rough. And then Endryk would have his unfortunate moment. This is also why tiny details make such a big difference. As Tchouaméni plays this ball to Endryk, he just needs to settle it and hold it. He can either go back to Luka Modric, maybe draw a foul, maybe the ball gets kicked out for a throw-in, whatever. At least you're not turning it over. But he tries to just run over the ball, it gets red, and Barcelona can launch an attack. Now, it gets cleared out for a throw-in, but imagine if Endryk does not lose that ball, do Barcelona have a throw-in in this part of the pitch? And the end result is that even though Real Madrid do win the ball back here and Luka Modric gets it, as he looks up and plays the ball to Brahim Diaz, Koundé reads it early. Diaz recognizes it late. Now he's scrambling. Koundé with a brilliant touch out in front of him to set himself up for the shot, and he rips it into the bottom corner, and Barcelona take a 3-2 lead with just a few minutes left in extra time. Now, it would all pop off at the end. Real Madrid would have 3 players sent off, and it was just chaos, but Barcelona would close it out, win 3-2, and lift the trophy. And what a game it was. I mean, it was up and down. I thought the tactics from both managers were super interesting. They took risks, and it made for a really, really fun match. Tell me what you thought about the game, whether or not Real Madrid deserved to win or Barcelona got the fair result in the end. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video and this tactical breakdown. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football. Take it easy.